Okay, so welcome. Thank you so much for being here. We are Katharina, Antonio, and I'm Jim, and this is the Divine Constellation. And we have been coming together over various months with the aim of building something really, really special. This is our third online session that you get to listen to. And today's session is about leading, and leading in a conscious and responsible way. We're all leaders in our life in some way or other, aren't we? Antonio, you've led in your ways. Katharina, you've led in your ways. Me, I lead in mine, whether it's leading a family or leading a class or leading a concert or leading a group, a tribe. It's easy to fall into the idea of leading being me standing in front of a group of people and telling them what to do. You know, the idea of authoritative leadership often has a very strong feeling of violence and aggression. For me, it's not about power over, it's about power with. And what our aim for the Divine Constellation is a bringing together of people who are all leading in their own way in their own lives and supporting that. A big aspect of this is supporting the spirit, and the spirit is not separate from you. You know, we love to separate things out as human beings, mind, body, and spirit. And it's not that they are three separate things that are kind of awkwardly pushed together like a jigsaw. No, you are body, you are mind, you are spirit. They're all aspects of you, just as for me, we're all aspects of life, or God, or godliness, or consciousness, or universe, or spirit, or source, or however you like to frame that greater beyondness in life. This is not spiritual leadership. I don't know if I like the word spiritual because of its separateness from the human. This is conscious leadership, responsible, being able to, responding comes from the word to respond, being able to really respond in a way that creates value. For me, in the work I do, the biggest part of leadership, or leading, because even leadership sounds really big and scary. No, the biggest part of leading is self-mastery. And I don't think anyone gets to the point of being a self-master, but that's the journey. And the more that I spend time and calm, gentle, quiet effort on my own mastering of myself, which is, mastering, again, it's not having power over, it's having power with, understanding myself, understanding my own patterns, being aware of my own emotions and my own triggers and the things I like and the things I don't like and the pain points, and not deleting those things or erasing those things, but saying, I am this is what I am. I came into the world in this way with certain traits and aspects and circumstances. How can I use what this is to create value in the world in some way? That's what leading is. Leading is not the big, powerful authority of, come on, everyone, let's go. Leading it's just saying, I would like to see life in a way that I'm not seeing it at the moment. For me, I'm not telling anyone what anything is. Each person has their own understanding and their own way of existing and their own way of seeing life. For me, when I am really working with myself, never on myself, always with myself, calmly, quietly, noticing my patterns, pattern recognition is a massive part of understanding oneself. Because if you see the patterns, then you don't have to push it away or get rid of it. You just, okay, I'm in that stage. Cool, no problem. Okay. and then being able to respond from a place of, well, I know who I am, kind of, if that's possible, and I know what I want to see in this world, and stuff is happening. Okay, instead of being sucked into those things, how can I respond? And therefore, how can I help somebody else respond as well? Because if I'm leading in my own life, if I'm taking the first step in this body, and I can help somebody else do the same thing, well, then the power of that movement is magnified, isn't it? Of course, when leading, and there is a big aspect of spirituality or spiritualism which is lacking, is moral code. Then there has to be a code of conduct. If I'm going to say, right, I want to see life this way, what is that coming from? Yeah, I'm working with myself. I'm taking care of myself. I'm feeding the spirit aspect of me and the body aspect and the mind aspect in the right way. There needs to be something all around that says, and this is how I do it. I do it. This is what I do, and this is what I don't do. This is my code of conduct. I'm the kind of person who treats people a certain way. I'm the one who walks out of the building every morning and makes sure that I say hello to each person instead of waiting to see if they're going to say hello to me first. And okay, and now I can say hello. No. Hi, how you doing? My code of conduct, the quality of each of my movements. We look at the word leadership or leading, and it's scary and it's big, and we project it away from ourselves like it's a thing. And how do I do this thing? No, it's not. Leadership doesn't exist. There's no such thing. It's not a thing that I can go and learn. Yeah, I can learn some skills that will help me with my projection or my ability to create that movement. But leadership in itself is talked about like it's a thing that you go on conferences on leadership. And my own father has written books about leadership. For me, it's something much more refined and internal, and it's not right, how do I be a leader? I need to do this, this, and this. It's different. The kind where us three and Rebecca, of course, who's not here, are aiming to go with this. It's not even harmonious, but it's not passive. It has its need to be on that wave as that wave is moving, but to be able to surf well, and to be able to read the waves so you're catching the right one, and to be on the surfboard, on the wave, making the best of each part, like the dropping in. And I don't know about surfing, but I'm guessing, the dropping in and all the parts that go with surfing. We do each of those well, instead of having never surfed, sitting on the beach with this enormous polystyrene thing going, that looks exhausting. Because surfing is exhausting, because you've got to swim out there, first of all, haven't you? And the other aspect for me, before I open the floor for us to just dive in and talk about this and share, is the importance of having a vision that you're a part of. I mean, I talk about cohesive vision, cohesion, coming together of, the togetherness of me and other people, or me and my own ideas, or me and my own values, or me and a group of people, or me and a system, that if I can see how I would like this to be, then I can take positive action towards it if I know that it's going to create value. If it's for a good thing. There are so many things made in this world that are based on money or power or someone's interest, political interest. And we all live in this world, and we're all intelligent individuals, and we are very aware that that is the case. A lot of things are driven by money and power and status and winning and being the best and competition. Right? We get that. I can't sit here and complain about the fact that that is what humanity has built for itself. But I don't have to sit in that and succumb to it and then spend the rest of my life complaining about how awful that is, because that doesn't help anyone. A constellation has no leader. Yeah, it has the people who take care of it, which is us. But a constellation is a group of things that come together to form, the constellations in the sky. My favorite is the Orion's belt, which is these three. So not quite in a line, and then there's all these others, and then you look at it and you see, right, it's an archer. So a constellation is a group coming together that forms a picture. But we all look at that picture and we're like, yeah, that. I'm a part of that, and I'm an integral, an active part of that. It's very easy to be passive in the modern world. Look at how technology has brought us so close to all of the information in the world right in front of my eyes. But it doesn't mean that I'm active. It generally makes us more and more passive and more fearful. I don't know what to do. I've got so much information. I don't know what to do. But if you have a vision, if you're clear about, I would like to see the world like this. It doesn't matter if we get there or not. The point is that you were one of the people who was instrumental in that movement or that action taking, and we all know, you guys both know the difference between taking action and taking purposeful action. When you've taken a piece of action and it was just like, oh, yeah, this means something. Meaning not for the sake of, I'm important because I have meaning and I did this thing and look how wonderful I am. It's not about that. There is those nice feelings. You take a piece of action, it makes you feel good about yourself, and done. Wonderful. I'm in this for the beyondness of that, or of the where this goes. We're here kind of making something together, but we're not making a cake. It's not ingredients, okay, you mix it, you put it in the oven and done. It's not about the result of the cake. It's about a continuous refining of something that hopefully, when I'm no longer on this planet, is still a thing, and it's still moving and growing and building and providing something of value to the person or the people who need it. So if each person is a leader automatically, naturally in life, maybe we don't know we are, or maybe we're scared of that idea, or maybe we run away from that idea. How does it feel to you guys to put that foot forward and not know where it's going to go, and not have any guarantee that this might even go further than the three of us? How does it feel for you to say, okay, I would like to be able to create something that helps other people lead themselves? Yeah, that's my question.
Beautiful. Thank you, Tim.
That was powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I can start. One thing I feel is, or the more I explore the topic of leading, of leadership, which I have been for quite some time now, I realize for myself it's kind of what you said about this power over. It's leading for me is more like a service. It's serving something, and being responsible for myself and what I lead. So there's an anchor point or a bridge between, or taking myself into the equation of who I'm leading. So I'm leading myself, and I'm leading maybe a group, for example, and I'm giving them something. I'm giving a structure, maybe my expertise. But it's much more like serving than having a powerful position where I get to tell people what to do, which is for me absolutely not what leading is about. And also what I feel, so there's this humbleness to this role of service, actually, that I feel. So, and this fear of getting something wrong because it involves more than just myself. That's the sphere of being responsible, having a responsibility for not just myself, but also other individuals. And also, kind of connecting to what you said earlier, Jim, is what I noticed myself is this fear of my own shadows that come up when I take leadership or when I take responsibility and step up into a role of leading. So for me, it has been very closely connected to shadow work, to my own personal shadow work. So what aspects do I not allow to come forth, and working with them. So also, this sometimes going into a more manipulative mode when I'm overwhelmed by a situation, and then I notice myself wanting to control, to not because I'm scared that I will lose my grip on the situation. So that's something I don't want, because I see it outside in the world and it triggers me. And I realized, why it triggers me as well is because I'm scared of that part in myself, and I don't want this to come out because I don't want to be a bad person, which it's my own judgment of that quality. But it ties in with what you said earlier as well, this knowing myself, getting to know myself, and my not just my qualities, but also my mechanisms, the things that come up, and working consciously with them as well, and being aware of them, not hiding them, but also like in the moment, maybe pausing and saying, okay, I'm sorry, I'm noticing this. Let's just take a breath together, and then coming out of it, and always leading myself first, and then leading others. Yeah.
Yeah, leading myself first. Antonio.
Yeah, that's really good. There's so much. You both share so many powerful things that I think I'm just going to go with something that really touched my heart, because my mind is all over the place right now.
Mm-hmm.
But something stayed in my heart, which is when you mentioned that your favorite constellation was Orion. And that's the case for me too. And it comes from a period when I was really struggling to not only with what I wanted to do, but with who I was and how I was behaving, although I couldn't see that at the time. I was projecting outward, and so I felt like I was being attacked, the shadow that you were talking about, Katharina. And during that time, I remember taking almost every night a walk. And during the winter, when Orion comes up, every time I saw it, I've always been a lover of astronomy, and that constellation specifically became a symbol of strength for me. But not strength like a forceful type of, no, it was more like the strength, the magnitude of the soul that is wanting to get out of the cage, and straighten things up in my mind. And so going back to your question, Jim, like, how does it feel to be in this position where it's true that we're all leaders, we're all teachers of who we are and our way of seeing the world. But there is an extra thing that you can do, which is step up consciously, knowing that you're about to do that. It's not just like everyone is doing it more or less consciously, but there's a moment that comes when you feel a call to actually do it explicitly in the world. And that moment has come for me. This week I've been starting my YouTube channel and recording things and being aware that that is what's going on. Like, I've gone through some transformations within, and now I can share the insights from that with people who might be struggling with the same things that I was struggling with 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And what I feel right now is that strength. And again, it's not the forceful, authoritarian strength at all. It's kind of like enough of all those limitations that were keeping me really quiet and frustrated with the world that I didn't like, but I was just saying okay to it and hiding who I really was. There is a way in which I want to express myself in the world. There is this really intense longing for coherence between my heart and my life. And saying okay to the things that don't feel okay in your heart, that creates a lot of resentment. It makes you small. It makes you angry with yourself, and then you project it out and you're angry with the world. But when you start to take that step that I'm taking now, and I'm through that process now of facing those fears and those insecurities, and it's like enough of those fears and insecurities. Like, the world is messy right now, and I can do little things that will alleviate the suffering for the people around me. I can do that because I've done that. That's happened to myself. There are things that I don't suffer about anymore, and I can show that to others. I can share that. And it's not so much what I do, but what I've become. And what you were saying also, Jim, about how leadership seems like a thing that you can study and then you do it. And what I was getting there is that leadership, that this type of leadership is just the interaction of what you've become and everything else. So it's not really something that you're doing. It's just the natural relationship. The way is like a chemical reaction where none of the elements are doing anything. It's just, I remember when I met you, Jim, I had that reaction. I felt my heart just explode, and I said, okay, I have to work with this man. And you were not doing anything. You were not selling anything. You were just being who you are and expressing yourself authentically. And I could feel that. It just lit my heart up. So I think that's what we're doing here also, is like showing up, creating a space where we can express ourselves as authentically as possible, where we can be ourselves truly. And we don't really have to do anything more than that. It's just, this will have its own effect. It is having it right now.
Yeah.
It's rippling through humanity, saying it's okay to be who you are and to do things well, like you should.
Yeah, I really like that. Yeah, this is the expression of how far I've got, how far you've got. Right. Okay. I've come to this understanding of myself, and that, as you say, Antonio, and that naturally filters out into the world.
Yeah.
I really like the image of a group of birds flying together. None of those, and you see it, when birds migration, and they're all in a kind of V flying off, or even birds that just look like they're having so much fun flying. Maybe there's 10 or 20 of them flying together, and they're all following one another. But at any time, any one of those birds can just leave and go hang out somewhere else and go sit on a tree and watch. The thrill that birds must feel, because when you see them flying together, and you really sit with that and engage with it, it must be so thrilling to be flying with those other birds. And yeah, maybe one of them decides where they're going. Maybe it's not just one. Maybe they're all so continuously interacting with one another on such a deep or strong or intuitive level that they all just go in that direction, or they all go in this direction, you know. And no one's forced to be there, and no one has to do anything. But the joy of this moving constellation, it benefits everyone within that constellation. But also me standing there on the ground watching how amazing that is, that fills me with joy. That those people are uniting and coming together and intuiting together. You know, for the people who because people love ideas. Not everyone is willing to engage in things, and that's absolutely fine. But if you're not going to engage, being able to watch something as it's happening, that also has a natural effect on you and your actions and the way you engage in the world, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also I love that you bring the joyous aspect of strength into it, Antonio. I can also feel actually what you've been talking about, my fears getting less or being less powerful inside me, because these times really call for leadership, or for stepping up, or for not hiding anymore. And I can feel this call in myself, at least, very much. And also in context I'm engaged in. And I just had an image a week ago where I was in a circle and we did a meditation, and the topic fear has been a constant companion of mine. And I could see myself, I could see this light being in myself, and then this kind of crouched over fearful being, and they were facing each other. And I had this image of them like holding hands, or the lightful being just being present, and by that the fearful crouched over one was kind of relaxing. And I then said to myself, I want to have a good relationship with both parts, and just kind of combine them and dance with them, and lead even when I'm like, because I also know the story is strength, the feeling of that. And having led a circle a couple of weeks ago, I enjoyed so much to see how the women in that circle were feeling and kind of opening up, and what it did to the way I held the space. And I could see the effects of it, and that was so beautiful. And it opened my heart, it opened their hearts. And to take both the fear and the joy and everything that comes up on the path, and to dance with both of them and navigate myself, lead myself through this process.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. You brought up the word humbleness earlier,
Mm-hmm.
Katharina. That's a really interesting one. To be humbly doing this work. I think that unconditional love is something that's lovely to talk about, but it's really hard to do. because no one else is doing it. And you can sit there and you're like, okay, unconditional love, and the other person is not getting it, and it's really hard to maintain that. But when you can, like you say, in a circle, or in a concert, or in a workshop, or in a whatever it is, in a school, if you can I think that's the work. Our work is to find the way where that humility and that unconditional love, but not love in a kind of airy-fairy up in the air way, but real unconditional love. If we can find a way where that can occur, it automatically creates all kinds of wonderful things with it, because it's pure creation. And I feel very strongly that that's at the core of our work, isn't it?
Yeah, and another thing that just came to me while you were talking, Jim, is also what you've been saying with the flock of birds. Is it a flock of birds?
It is a flock of birds.
Okay. Is where the constellation part comes in again, because I've been talking like through the years with many people who are leading circles or who are leading communities, people, and a theme that comes up a lot is this exhaustion and feeling like you have to carry all the weight and the responsibility on your own, really this image of, and I remember our conversation, Jim, as well, where you said, like, I feel like I have a lot of weight on my shoulders. And I know that myself. And what I love about a constellation, a community, is giving ourselves also as leaders, or as people who are leading in some way, this feeling of connection, of community, of sharing, and feeling like I don't have to do this alone, because I know a lot of people who feel or who think I have to do this alone. And I know that from myself as well. But coming together and nurturing each other and learning from each other and inspiring each other and sharing maybe the grief and the pain and the frustration with each other just makes it all so much lighter, and forming connections and networks and working together maybe, and seeing how we can support each other in different ways.
Yeah.
And I feel that's the power of true leadership as well, to know where I can connect and get support and be supported, and not just give to the outside, but be part of the equation.
Do you guys know why birds fly in that formation like this?
No.
It's because they alleviate the strength of the wind to the ones behind them. So the first one is opening the way through the air, and it makes it easier for the rest of them to, it's kind of like less resistance. That's a trick that they're applying. It's physics. So that's a perfect metaphor for what we're talking about here. It's like, if we, each of us, try to do that migration from a fearful life into a loving one, there's a lot of resistance and a lot of obstacles that might just block you, and then you're done. But when you get together with a community and you fly in that position, in that formation, it becomes easier for everyone. And the one at the front keeps changing because it's exhausting. It's the most exhausting position. So they keep kind of like rotating who's at the front. So each of them get to lead for a while. And that's also the humility. The word humility also comes from homos, like from the ground, like that's the toughest position. No one wants to be there. But they all do. They all take that. Intuitively, they know when to change. And also another idea about birds, which you can see, it's an inspiring thing for me. I've explored it quite a lot. My own flock over there on my altar. And another idea with birds that is also perfect for this is those other formations of birds that you were mentioning, Jim, the ones that kind of like fly together in kind of like a beautiful cloud, so perfectly formed. And you think, like, how do they do that? How are they? You can see that there is a kind of like a higher intelligence organizing the group, because they make perfect like oval shapes, and it looks like a whole organism. And I remember reading about a kind of like a rogue physicist called Rupert Sheldrake, who created who came up with this theory called morphogenetic fields, where he says that the things of this world are following kind of like blueprints or fields, like ideas. It's kind of like the world of ideas of Plato. There's this world of perfect ideas and blueprints for things and processes, and then the things that are manifested in this world are just following that. So when you see a group of birds or a fish also moving in that way where it looks so coherent, they all take the same turn at the same exact time. The idea that he proposed was that they are not following each other. They are each following the same field, the same lines of the same field. So it's kind of like when you see a magnet and you put iron filings and they all form these kind of like lines. That's what's going on. Each of them are following their own inner guidance, their own inner magnetic connection to the field, and yet they move in perfect harmony all together.
Wow.
Isn't that
what
beautiful?
an amazing image. Yeah, that's
Very beautiful. Yeah.
that's perfect, isn't it? And so there is something else guiding,
Yeah,
and therefore there's something else guiding this,
exactly.
and and there is no passivity. Each one is tuned into this greater good, this field, this set of these kind of crystalline structures that we can't see. And it's really difficult to, when you have people who are passive and who want to be carried or who want to be led, but it's just a programming in them. And when they see that all that is a pattern that they've been following unwittingly without realizing it for maybe even decades, and that falls away, then they come in and they join and they feel into that thing that we can't see but is there.
Yeah.
And we all come in line. Yeah, wonderful. I really, really like that. I think that's a really nice note to finish on. Yeah. So thank you both so much.
Thank you.
For me, wonderful. Thank you. I feel very grateful to be a part of this. I really, really do.
Yeah, me too.
Just
and
like
for those watching, please feel free to, I don't know, connect with us. Come be a part of this if you feel it's the right thing. Yeah, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Katharina. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, whoever is there.
Yeah.
What a wonderful thing. I can feel that strength, that joyful strength within me.
Yeah, perfect.